You are listening to the Thriving Empire podcast with Stephanie Holland, episode 3. Welcome to the Thriving Empire podcast, where it's all about minimizing the pain, drama, and burnout of starting up so you can launch your ideas with more passion, purpose, and vision. I'm your host, strategist, traveler, and coconut macaroon addict, Stephanie Holland. So let's get started. How are you? I'm amazing. I've been asking all my friends to listen to the show and tell me what they think. And one of my favorite girlfriends said she loved the mix of business and spirituality, which I think is really funny because I don't really think of business as combining two separate things, but rather one as the essence of the other, like knowing who you are and what you want as the very essence of any kind of future success in business. So it's so interesting to hear other people's reactions and sometimes resistances to your work, because we can never really guess how the world will receive what we put out there. And I guess that's why I get really excited about this whole process of co-creation and why it's so important not to be obsessive and perfectionist about your work, because there's no point spending 1,000 million hours on a product if you don't know what people's initial reactions are going to be. And it's so fun to put maybe a kind of more raw, a more kind of personal and true form out there in the world to see what people co-create with you. Anyway, she said that she wanted more examples of how to take extraordinary care of yourself, like massage, etc., which of course was her example because she's a massage therapist. So I just wanted to start off today to reiterate that this whole season 1 is about taking extraordinary care of yourself. Like, we're going to cover that in the next 20 to 25 episodes. But it definitely goes much deeper than day-to-day self-care, things like massage. It's much more about creating your own freedom philosophy. And the building blocks of that are focusing on building a freedom life first, and then crafting a thriving lifestyle, and then failure proofing your mindset, and then building a freedom business. So this third episode is the second part of building a freedom life, which we started in episode 2, which was the previous episode, when we talked about how to become CEO. And that was all about having the time of your life by being the person you need to be to get the results you want, and doing the things you need to do to get the results you want as well. So let's get cracking on the other elements of building a freedom life. Can I just say first, though, it's so fun to have you back on the show. It's kind of amazing to think that you can think of doing something for ages, and then finally, when you actually focus 1,000% on making it happen, you can create it really quickly. Like this podcast, for example, it's just blowing my mind. I've been thinking about it for a couple of months. And then today I sat down to write, and my gosh, hey presto, I have 3 episodes ready to deliver to you in under 3 hours. Like, oh my gosh. How cool is that? Seriously, how cool is that? And I just caught myself saying like, and I promised myself I wouldn't do that. So you can actually force me to put $1 in the like jar every time I say like, because I do not want to say a lot of likes in my podcast. Anyway. So you can imagine me sitting here, I'm listening to the Dirty Dancing soundtrack back to back, which was inspired by the last episode, episode 2. I'm drinking a cup of mate and I'm clicking away on my favorite writing app. It's called Writer. It's amazing. There are like 9 different, oh my gosh, another $1. I'm going to have to start finding myself a lot more for saying like. Anyway, so Writer is brilliant. You can use or select from 7 different tracks. You can add old school typewriter clicks to the keyboard. It is so cool. I'll put a link in the show notes. It'll be the best €6 you will ever spend. So today I want to talk about focus, extreme focus to be precise, because it's another way that we can create more freedom in our life and work. And I know that many of you listening have an idea, or perhaps even lots of ideas, and you feel excited and ready to take the next steps, but at the same time, you don't always feel very organized, and you're definitely not consistent. So you might even love structure, certainly the idea of it, but you don't know how to be consistent with being organized. And maybe even one step deeper, if you really look closely or really feel closely, you might even lack a real sense of purpose or direction. Now, this is all to do with a lack of focus, and that would be extreme focus to be precise. So let's be clear, because without extreme focus, you can't really achieve much at all. It might mean you don't even start something. It might mean you start and don't finish something. something, and it might mean that you're already surrounded by a sea of incompletes, which creates a whole other list of destructive thoughts and emotions that again hijack our headspace, as we talked about in episode 2, from where at that point we spiral into oblivion. And our ideas are then left to float off to another more organized mind. Now, if that sounds like you, don't worry. We're going to turn that around today. And I want to start by telling you that actually you have mastered the art of extreme focus already. You only have to look at certain areas of your life right now or in the past to see where you do have or have had extreme focus, and where best to look at than your accomplishments. So perhaps you landed a dream job that you were going for. Perhaps you met and married your dream partner. Perhaps you had a baby or 2 or 3. Maybe you purchased your own home. Perhaps you've remodeled your kitchen. That takes a lot of focus. Perhaps you've started writing a book or created an app on the side of working full time. Perhaps you've quit your job to go traveling, or quit your job to start freelancing or consulting. Perhaps you've started your own business or launched a Kickstarter campaign, whatever. Everything you've done in your life so far, all of your accomplishments required extreme focus, organization, and planning to work out exactly how you envisioned it. So of course, I'm not talking about where you just went with the flow and took what showed up on your doorstep. I'm talking about where you set a goal and you went for it and you achieved it. Because I know you've done that at least once in your life, at least in one area of your life. You had a dream and you followed it. You actually had to show up and make it happen. So good, right? Now, I want you to reflect for a few moments on what you've created, accomplished, and achieved in your life, and realize you had to have extreme focus to do that. To be where you are right now, you used the skill of focus. And also take a few moments to just celebrate, because you're awesome. And I feel a digression coming on at this point, because I want to say to you right now that you are awesome no matter what. Regardless of commercial success of your book, of your course, of your app, of your podcast, your services, your offers, you're already awesome, and you will be forever awesome, regardless of commercial success. Okay, digression over. So now we know that you're awesome and you're capable of extreme focus. Let's see how we can consciously cultivate extreme focus. So extreme focus around a specific goal means you've got a crystal clear vision for the results you want to achieve. You have a clear idea or strategy for achieving it. You have a very well articulated strategic plan or plan of action, and then you'll be able to generate momentum towards the results you want to create. You will also feel energized, inspired, empowered, creative, and productive. And so why, when it comes to our business ideas, is it so easy to spin out? Well, I have an idea about this. Firstly, I think for some reason, the risk of failure feels so deeply personal and so publicly humiliating when it's something we embark on by ourselves, when it's something that comes from our heart space that we're very, very deeply passionate about and close to, which isn't quite the same experience as, a team effort in a corporate role, for example. So that means in that case that we focus on avoiding the worst case scenario, which is failing, and what that could look like in our life, and end up focusing on making decisions that mitigate the risk of failure rather than making decisions that propel us towards the results we do want to create. And secondly, and this is probably more what I'm going to talk about in this episode, we haven't yet understood how our ideas fit into and help us create the bigger picture vision for our life. And I do think this is more important because it gives us the driving force behind our ideas. So when my clients come to me and they have too many ideas to choose from, and they're doing a lot of work and not really getting anything done, and they're spinning their wheels, doubting, second-guessing themselves, and generally being head cases, this is what we do. We go right back to the beginning. We focus on the bigger picture of the life they want to create. And then we can be really strategic about how that helps us launch our ideas with more passion, purpose, and vision. Because then our life vision can inform the finer details of our products and services, and how we create them, and how we work with them, and how we deliver them and market them and sell them. So we can do all of that whole creation and sales process with a lot more ease and joy, because it fits into the bigger picture vision of the life that we want. So here's the thing. to make it really clear for you, this is how simple it is. When I think about the life I want to create, I know that I want to be able to live in 3 countries a year. I want to live on the beach. I want to work with clients all over the globe, remotely, online, and without a set schedule every week. I want a lot of variety in the way that I work. I want to have perfect papayas and avocados and access to local food markets. I want to live in nature, like I literally want to live in the palm trees. I want to be able to stretch on the beach at sunset, wake up at sunrise, sleep at pretty much when it gets dark. I want to be able to hear the birds in the morning, see the stars at night, have a nurturing local community, a handful of close, reliable, creative, and entrepreneurial friends, and just be able to chill when I want to. That sounds pretty simple, right? That's not a really dramatic or grand vision of life. It's really simple. But you can probably guess that I've put a lot of thought into thinking about that exact life that I want to live. And because I know this, because I know the picture of the life I want, I can create a business that supports it and products and services that support it. And then it becomes so motivating that everything I create will help me create and sustain the vision I have for my life. That, by the way, is exactly how I live right now. And that was the vision I had 12 years ago. And now that's exactly how I live. It's no longer my vision. It's my life. But this simple vision still fuels everything I do in my business, right down to which clients I choose to work with. And it all comes down to one question. Will this client or project create and sustain my freedom life? So that's the first step. What do you want? Asking yourself, what do I want? What vision do you have for your life? And then you can, in the following order, you can decide what sort of business you're will create and sustain this vision you have for your life, which ideas, products, services, and offers you want to create, and then which one you will focus on now. And then you can get to work on validating the idea to make sure people want to throw money at you for it, on creating a strategic plan for making it happen, on outlining your plan literally step by step, task by task, and scheduling that in your calendar so that you never have to sit down and wonder what you have to do next. And keep at it. Keep at that process until you get the results you're looking for. So that might be, in terms of results, it might be working with 10 new clients. It might be selling 1,000 copies of your book. It might be 2,000 downloads of your app or your podcast, whatever it is. You keep going at it until you get those results. That, my lovely friend, is extreme focus. But it starts with a really clear vision you have for your life, your freedom life. And I think a lot of people don't spend any time thinking about this. They go right to their products and services, and then they wonder why they've created another plum management role and another job in their own life and work. So here's the thing. You are responsible. You are absolutely 1,000 million billion % responsible for creating a crystal clear vision of your freedom life so that you can make sure you're building a business that supports it. Now, this vision will keep you on track and be a constant reminder of why you're starting a business in the first place. So if I'm chatting with a new prospective consulting client and anything to do with that role is going to compromise the vision I have with my life, I know that it's not for me. So, it will also help you decide which products and services to create, which ideas to follow, how you want to model or structure your business and services, how you do everything. And it will be the fuel that you need to embrace my favorite business strategy, which I simply call just getting on with it. Now, if you are spinning out a little from time to time, I just want you to go back to the vision you have for your life and make sure it's an exciting one, and make sure that the ideas you're investing your time and energy into right now will help you create and sustain it. That is the most powerful fuel for getting on with your ideas that I know of. And that's it for today, my friend. You can access the worksheet, transcript, and show notes that go with this episode at stephanieholland.co/3 and start bringing extreme focus to your life and work immediately. Now, if like me, you're a super nerd and you love learning, experimenting, and integrating new ideas into your life and work to maximize your results on all levels, you are going to love the Freedom Philosophy Study Pack, or the Season 1 Study Pack for the podcast, which I created for this season especially. You'll get a digital copy of the book for all e-readers, the mega comprehensive workbook with a worksheet for each episode, the audiobook, a breathwork video series, and a meditation video series, and tons of other bonus content, resources, and templates that I don't offer anywhere else. Just come on over to this episode's page at stephanieholland.co/3. You can type the word 3 or the number 3. That's totally fine. Either will do. And use the code PODCAST, PODCAST, to get 50% off the study pack. So thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time. Oh, and by the way, if you're enjoying this show so far, I would love if you would take a few moments to upload a review to iTunes. Just fire up iTunes, search for the Thriving Empire podcast, click on ratings and reviews, and then click on write a review, and you're good to go. I would appreciate it so much. Thank you so much. See you next time. Bye.